welcome to another episode of Beer for Breakfast ABV. I am Danielle from The Moog Show on 91X. As always, I have my beer drinking partner in crime with me, Paul Segura from Karl Strauss, and we're doing things a little bit different. I'm actually stoked about this. This is the very first time that we have featured hard kombucha on Beer for Breakfast, and we have Greg Peters, the Chief Brewing Officer of JuneShine Hard Kombucha from right here in San Diego.
The man.
Welcome.
The head dude in
Thank
charge.
you.
Greg.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you back.
Cheers.
Yeah, I know. It's good to be back.
I'm digging this kombucha.
All right,
I'm a
so
longtime fan.
we
And I make it at home.
we pre-gamed with the acai berry, but for anybody who is unaware of what kombucha is, can you
Sure.
just kind of break it down?
Sure. It's a pretty ancient drink. It's got its origins in Asia, and it's fermented tea. Most common is fermented black tea. So you make black tea base, you add sugar, and then you add a mixed culture. It ferments, it creates acidity, and it's full of probiotics, which is good for gut health. What we make is called Jun Kombucha. We actually make a green tea base, and we use honey for the sugar, and then our proprietary mixed culture as well, which people refer to as a SCOBY, which stands for Symbiotic Culture of Bacteria and Yeast.
That's a lot of information he just put out there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of lore surrounding kombucha too, right? I mean, didn't they
Sure.
find in Manchuria somewhere some like little town up in the mountains or something where all these people were super healthy and they lived to a long life and everything else, and they were like, what the hell is the secret? And they found this Manchurian mushroom. They didn't know, like they didn't have SCOBY. They didn't know
Sure.
what it was.
Sure.
But it looked like a mushroom growing.
See, that's
On
the
top
only
of
thing
this-
that I know. So my very limited knowledge of kombucha
Sure.
is that, because I had a roommate who he was all about kombucha, and this was probably about like 10 years ago before
Right.
it was really everywhere. And I would be like, what is that blob? What is that booger
Yep,
that is
yep.
in your drink? And so as kombucha was like coming along more, and you know, before you poured, I was like, is there gonna be a booger in there?
Sure.
Is there like what's the difference between the two?
Sure, and you'll see that like in a lot of low alcoholic or non-alcoholic kombuchas, like GTs, you always get that. You get little remnants of the SCOBY, the mixed
Yeah.
culture in the bottom. We don't tend to carry over that gelatinous substance into our finished product, but it is still packed full of bacteria and yeast that does carry over. That gelatinous mass is actually biofilm, which is a byproduct of bacteria, and it kind of secretes that as like a protective housing, so it kind of protects the bacteria. And Paul, as you know, if you see that in a brewery, you know something's wrong. you want to get rid of that
20
stuff.
years ago, before this whole sour beer thing came out, yeah, you don't want that in your brewery.
Right.
But, over the past, 10, 15 years with all the sour beers and everything, we're going out of our way to get beer that has characteristics,
Sure.
of kombucha. Am I pronouncing it right? Kombucha?
Kombucha, yeah.
So we're actually using a lot of the same bacterias
Yep.
in beer to make sour beer.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why it was such an easy transition for me personally, being in beer for about 15 years, and bringing over a lot of our team has come from the beer industry. So we've got people from Modern Times and Stone and AleSmith and St. Archer and all these breweries, and they've got a lot of experience making sour beer as well as regular beer. So the transition's pretty easy to making kombucha.
So the team at JuneShine's like an all-star team.
That's right.
Well, and
guys
that,
really know what
that
you're
was what
doing.
kind of like sold me on having you guys on Beer for Breakfast. Because when you came up on the schedule, someone asked, like, well, it's kombucha, it's not beer. And I'm like, but there's a crossover. There's a crossover, and the superstars that you guys have over there, it was, your standards are so high. Looking at Morgan, who came from White Labs, who's now at JuneShine, her standards are so massively up there. And as you're naming off people who are working at JuneShine, I'm like, oh, well, this is a must.
Yeah.
So when it comes from coming from a brewery and a beer brewing background, where is the crossover with the hard kombucha?
I mean, what's nice is the hot side. So what in brewing we say is the hot side when you're actually making the wort in beer. We're making the green tea. it's a much more straightforward, simple process. I mean, you're essentially just making, right now at our Scripps location, we make 100 barrels of green tea at a time. And it's pretty much 2 steps. Like, you infuse the green tea with the hot water, and then you add the honey, and then you send it to the primary fermenter. So that process is a lot more simplified. Once it gets to the cellar, though, that's when things get really complicated. We have 2 different fermentations, so we have a primary and a secondary. So everything needs to be monitored really, really closely. Sugar levels, the speed of the fermentation, bacterial growth versus yeast growth.
Does the bacteria like the honey?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, honey is a very simple sugar, and it's 100% fermentable, as well as the organic cane sugar, which we use for secondary fermentation. It's 100% fermentable. So when we're done with our base, it's completely dry. All of the sugars are consumed by the yeast to create the alcohol. And then the next challenging process is the flavoring. So again, we use 100% organic ingredients, organic juices, and organic spices. No artificial sugars, and no flavor extracts.
I wonder if there's a healthier beverage out there than this, man.
Right, and it gives you a buzz. I appreciate that.
So all of these are 6%.
That's right.
No matter what the color or flavor or whatever.
That's right. Yeah, and that's where we're at right now. We'll always have a core lineup that will be 6% alcohol, but there's nothing to say that we can't increase or lower the alcohol.
Right.
And I mean, hard kombucha is really in its infancy right now. I mean, for thousands of years we've been making regular kombucha. It only really kind of became popular in the West about 10 years ago with GTs, and now there's Health Aid and a bunch of other low alcohol kombucha producers. But this high alcohol thing, right now it's basically us and Boochcraft and Flying Embers and some other hard kombucha producers. So, we're really trying to figure this stuff out as we go. We're building the plane as we're flying it.
You're kind of pioneering it.
Yeah.
That, and that's got to be kind of cool because, if we go back to the 80s when the craft beer scene really started in San Diego, you look at it now, it's massive, it's everywhere, and you guys are on like the forefront of this whole new thing, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's so many pluses to kombucha. One is the flavor and the health benefits and everything. 2 is that it's gluten-free.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's not made with any cereal grains. So people who are gluten sensitive or whatever can drink this as an alternative to beer.
Yep.
And it's available in a lot of the same bars that serve beer, right?
Yeah.
So
we
it's out
feel
there.
we feel like we're still very much a part of the craft industry and the craft beer industry. I mean, like I said, all of us or a lot of us came from craft beer, so it's nice to still feel a part of that and be able to go into our favorite beer bars and have a JuneShine. So
that's cool. Well, let's cheers to that
Cheers.
as we get into our second beer here, kombucha actually.
All right.
Ooh, so this is strawberry.
Total
This
strawberry.
is your
Yeah.
farm to booch series.
Yep.
Explain this to me.
This is about as natural and simple as it gets. We made our standard 6% kombucha base, and then our R&D team went out to Cyclops Farms, which is a local organic farm that we partnered with, and picked about 300 pounds of fresh organic strawberries. Best strawberries you'll ever taste.
Wow.
You guys know the difference between
Oh, yeah.
one that you pick and then one that you maybe buy at a big supermarket. I mean, these
Totally.
things were just amazing. We mashed them up, threw them in the booch, and carbonated it, and here we are.
I bet there was like very little left of the fruit other than the seeds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So you get the whole flavor of the strawberry. You get the tartness as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? And while I'm on the subject of tartness, the first 2 that we've tried, neither of them are like face-puckeringly tart.
No.
Right.
They've got the tartness there, and it's refreshing and dry and everything. But you also get all the wonderful fruit flavor, the whole fruit flavor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome.
Our base product is very transparent, which is nice. So, I mean, we've experimented with all kinds of different flavors. and most of them work. You know, once a month we do an R&D tasting, and we invite the entire team. So, I mean, bartenders, warehouse technicians, QC, whoever, and our R&D brewer Josh down in North Park. He'll have about 3 to 5 small batch test batches for us. So we've had all kinds of
since
crazy
everything
stuff.
has the same base, I would assume that do they blend well? Like if I wanted to do, you know, like the acai berry that we just had, if I want some of that with like the strawberry, blend them together. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, one of our favorites right now is we're actually blending the strawberry with, we have another farm to booch flavor that we made with kumquats.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, we call that one strawquat, or in reverse, I won't say that one. It sounds gross. But
everyone's like saying it in their head right now, like, oh.
That was the idea. Yeah, the strawberry kumquat blends so well together.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, you know,
maybe we'll do that after the show.
Yeah.
I just like this as it is. It's like, and it's super refreshing.
It's very simple. It's one flavor. We found with most of our flavors that 1 to 2 combinations is what you need. You know, sometimes we'll branch out and do 3, but
might get a little busy.
Yeah, yeah, and the flavors tend to get a little muddled if you do that. So
for me personally, because sours have been such a thing, and I just cannot get into them, and I've been trying and trying and trying. I could see this being that like branch over that bridge from hard kombucha over to sours.
Yep.
And for me, I started drinking these and sour beers for kind of a different reason. And I don't want to get like super personal, but all right, I'll do it.
Come on.
Like all of the hazy beers have a lot of yeast in them, right? And yeast was living in my gut, man. And it was kind of like thriving there. And every time I would eat anything that had carbohydrates, like pasta or bread or whatever, I just get this fermentation going on in my stomach.
Yeah.
And I was getting all bloated, and I had like heartburn, and I started having issues, man.
Is it like kind of like your stomach is making more beer?
My stomach was out of balance. Like a typical balance should be 75% of the bacteria, these bacteria, probiotics, and 25% yeast. But because I was drinking so much like hazy beer, it got flipped around, where most of the bacteria in my stomach was yeast, and I had very little of this. So I had to start drinking sour beers and kombucha, like a lot of it, and you know, yogurt and other stuff to kind of get back to a place of balance. And since I did, and that was probably 3 years ago or so, I feel great, man.
Yeah.
And so I started making this at home.
Yeah.
You know, just using whatever I had.
But does it taste this good?
It does not. No, this.
That's my question.
This is taking it to like a pro level. This is. So the tea that you use, is it caffeinated?
Yeah, I mean it's.
I feel like already I'm.
Yeah, it's organic green tea.
Okay.
Beer for breakfast.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and we do carry over trace amounts of caffeine. It's about 1/8 of the caffeine of coffee. So actually, during primary fermentation, that caffeine gets broken down and consumed by the bacteria. So, but a little bit does carry over. Yeah.
And that counterbalances the 6%.
Yeah, I mean,
gives you a good like levitation.
At the end of the day, the alcohol wins. You know, I mean, we know that from drinking coffee beers.
Yeah, it's true.
Every time. So before we get into our last kombucha, where can we find JuneShine?
Oh man,
because you guys just recently had this like big old party.
We did,
and I wanted to be there, but I was moving, and it was really lame. But like as I saw the videos and the photos, the FOMO that I got was real.
It was nutty. I am still recovering, and it's Monday, and this is from Saturday. So we started in North Park. It's our original location on El Cajon Boulevard.
You guys are part of the Igniter program,
That's right,
right?
yeah, right next to Pariah and Epic, our good friends over there.
Cool.
Amazing beer at both places. And that's a little 20-barrel system and tasting room. All of these flavors are available there. And then we recently acquired Ballast Point Scripps' old location. So yeah, we're out in Scripps. It's a 25,000 square foot production facility and tasting room.
It's a fairly large place.
It is. We're making a lot of booch.
So you guys are going to branch into different states?
Yeah,
perhaps?
so right now we're just in That's not true. We just launched Portland. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we're in.
Take that, Oregon.
We're in Orange County, LA, Santa Barbara, Sacramento, hometown.
Nice.
That's always a good feeling. My family can grab it up there.
That's cool.
Launched Portland. We'll be moving into the Bay Area soon, and Hawaii. as
So
well.
when did
Hawaii.
JuneShine officially open? Because it's sounding like you guys are already
Yeah.
getting your roots in.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah. We opened on June 1st, 2018.
Oh wow! So we just celebrated the 1 year.
It was a 1 year
like,
anniversary,
wow.
as well as a grand opening of JuneShine Scripps Ranch. So I need a vacation.
What's that?
We all need a
Well, plus you
vacation.
just got married and you know you got a kid on the way.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
the
there's not
things
going to be a
and all the stuff.
vacation
Yeah.
once the kid's born. You
I
gotta
got
take
one
it.
planned
Yeah.
next month.
All right.
Next month. But yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to finish off with the passion fruit, and
It's not just passion fruit though.
it's
is it?
not.
So passion fruit alone doesn't give you a purple color like that.
Look
right.
at that!
Purple drink.
How fun is this? This reminds me of Purple Source Rex. Throwing it out there to Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
It looks like Gatorade.
Right, so start from the beginning. I
Sure.
know that we're not supposed to drink with our eyes, but Paul, explain to me, how do we not drink with our eyes with this?
I expect some grape flavor or something from this. But
I went to Star Wars Galaxy Edge, and even the drinks there did not have the kind of color that I'm seeing from the kombucha that you brought today. And they put, I'm sure a bunch of extra added stuff.
Right.
This is all
Yeah.
natural.
That's right. Yeah. Just out in nature, there's so many amazing, beautiful colors, and kind of harnessing those and adding those to our product is something that we definitely look for. Color is a big part of it. I mean, we want our drink to be beautiful as well. So
you used a flower to get this color.
that's right. Yeah. So this flavor is passion fruit, lemongrass, and butterfly pea flower. Said it right this time. Butterfly pea flower. Yeah.
Is this what they look like on the can?
That's no. Those are actually passion fruits.
Oh.
No, they're the ones, if I'm thinking correctly, which I probably am not. I'm thinking like the little flowers that are on a long stem.
Yeah.
And there's they almost look like bells, like if you're ringing a bunch of little bells
Yep.
on something.
Yep. Exactly.
Wow.
So
how'd you know that?
I don't know. It just
I don't know.
I'm
I'm
picturing
impressed.
it in my mind.
Yeah.
Maybe I was supposed to be a botanist in another lifetime. I don't know.
And how the hell did you know that they would add this kind of flavor?
I didn't, but our R&D brewer did. He's a very talented guy. He's constantly playing around with this kind of stuff. What's interesting about the butterfly pea flower is that when you add it to water, it turns blue, and like I said earlier, like
Windex?
a Windex colored blue.
How did we get purple then?
As soon as you add acidity, a lower pH, it turns purple. So our product being acidic, it turns it purple.
Science.
Yeah,
I
science,
feel like,
because science.
Oh God, I want Bill Nye the Science Guy here so bad to talk about the science behind hard kombucha, because I bet
Bill
that
Nye, where are you at?
Come on,
Come
Bill Nye
visit.
the Science Guy. We'd love to chat with you about hard kombucha, because
And I'm trying to dissect the flavor, and it's
Yeah.
really hard to pick. I mean, you get a little bit of the passion fruit, but then there's this floral, sort of grapey sort of layer.
Yeah. Are you getting the lemongrass? Did you get the lemongrass?
You know what?
It's kind of in the finish.
Maybe that's what's messing with me right now. Yeah, I'm kind of. What am I tasting? I'm getting all kinds of.
Like, as I'm drinking this, I get the smell that when I'm gardening and
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
in the soil and just all of those earthy
Yep.
smells. That's what I'm getting as I'm drinking
It
this.
is earthy, yeah. And we really like that flavor.
I
we
get
that.
a little bit of earthy, but not like in a mushroom way.
Right, yeah.
It's kind of more floral to me than earthy.
Well, I don't know what earth you're smelling or tasting, but this is the
When
earth
people
that
say
I
earthy,
smell
I'm
and
thinking
taste.
mushroom.
Yeah.
Oh, see, when I say earthy, I'm thinking of what comes out of the ground.
Like soil.
Yeah.
Like the smell of soil
Yeah.
when you're gardening.
Yeah, that's what I think of when I think of earthy.
Do you eat a lot of dirt?
Once upon a time, mud pies, my friend. Come on, I was the best mud pie maker in all of the land as a child.
Do you eat shrooms?
It's been a while. It's There was
When
that
you
one
say it like
time.
that.
It was awful. It was just
Well, I'm talking
terrible.
about like, like restaurant.
Oh, mushrooms. Yeah, yeah, all the time. Yeah. Come on, man. Who doesn't eat mushrooms? Source of protein.
That's right. That's right.
Anywho's, so Greg, what do we have to look forward to from JuneShine?
Oh man, well, Saturday is my last JuneShine event for a little while. I have a little break. Like I said, we've all been working really, really hard, but we've got all kinds of events going on around town. I mean, it's like every weekend.
What's the best way to keep up with what's going on with JuneShine?
Instagram.
Instagram.
I mean,
we did it for the gram.
yeah,
All
no,
right.
for real.
Actually,
yeah.
I want to say this. Your tasting room in North Park
Yeah.
is an Instagram influencer's like playground.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like that, if you were down for taking the, very natural Instagram photos of
Yeah.
how much fun you're having,
Absolutely.
JuneShine is the perfect place to do it.
It really is. Yeah, yeah. We really spent a lot of time and put a lot of thought into how we wanted our tasting rooms to look and how we wanted them to feel. And if you come out to our Scripps Ranch location as well.
We didn't even talk about this
What's
one.
Oh yeah,
that
we'll,
one?
we'll get to that.
What's that?
This one's amazing.
What is it?
Blood orange mint.
Well, let's, take
Yeah, why
one
not?
down,
Yeah.
pass it around.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So on paper, that would seem unorthodox. Blood orange and mint? But
Yep.
no, they go together really well.
Absolutely. Yeah. People think like it's drinking orange juice after you brush your teeth, but not.
No.
Not in this
not this.
kombucha.
Man,
Yeah.
that's
Oh.
super good.
I'm thinking I'm sick. Screw tea. I want
Yeah.
this
Freaking
instead. Please take it. Greg, thank you so much
Absolutely, yeah.
for coming on Beer for Breakfast.
Thanks
We
for
really
having me.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
So
man.
great to have
Yeah,
you back.
Cheers.
Yeah, it was great
It's
to
been
see
a
you guys.
while.
I know. Yeah.
Keep up the good work.
Remember, every Friday, Paul comes on the Moog Show and tells Moog and myself and you what you should be drinking this weekend. So JuneShine will be featured this week. So I can't actually. I'm really stoked to hear what Moog thinks about these because
I am too.
Because I know Moog pretty well, and I feel like when we tell him what this is, he's gonna make that face that he says he doesn't make, but he makes it.
But he used to say
And-
that years ago with beer, and he's no longer doing that.
I can't wait
so-
for him to drink this
we're
and see
turning
the
on to
look
new
of
stuff.
delight on his face.
Yeah.
He's in this weird health kick mode right now, so he's
All
gonna be
right,
like,
so
"Oh, this is healthy."
Once we explain the health benefits of this, he's going to be all over it.
He's in. He's on. Thank you so much. Remember, you can follow us on 91x.com. That's where all the previous episodes are. And cheers to independent craft kombucha.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about the crossover.
Cheers.
Cheers.
91X.